This just might be one of the most compelling 3D printer releases of 2026. And of course, I'm talking about the Flashforge Creator 5, which kind of came out of nowhere and took the winds out of the sails of the Snapmaker U1, which just released a few months ago in April of 2026. Since the Creator 5 is simply a less expensive alternative to the Snapmaker U1 while offering the exact same benefits of a multi-tool head 3D printer. So with that said, let's talk about the specs of the Creator 5. So right off the rip, the standout feature of the Creator 5 is the fact that it's a multi-tool head 3D printer, including 4 identical tool heads, all capable of reaching 320 degrees Celsius with their hardened steel nozzle. And since I'm talking about temperatures, the build plate of the Creator 5 is capable of reaching 120 degrees Celsius. Now, the Creator 5 is a Core XY 3D printer, which means that the build plate moves along the Z-axis, and the tool head moves along the X and the Y-axis. And it also has a build volume of 256 millimeters cubed, if the big bold text on the side of the build plate wasn't clear enough for you. And ever since Bambu Lab released the X1 Carbon, 256 millimeters cubed has kind of become the standard for most 3D printers around this size. Every single filament path on this 3D printer has a filament runout sensor, and this sensor is at the very start of the filament path, so you can easily swap out your filament as it runs out. And the Creator 5 also comes equipped with all the standard automated calibration features you'd come to expect from a 3D printer in 2026, like vibration compensation, auto mesh bed leveling, and dynamic flow calibration. Speaking of which, all those calibrations are done by the Creator 5 automatically when you do your initial setup, which we'll cover right now. I won't lie to you guys, this 3D printer is just like the vast majority of other 3D printers in regards to its initial setup. And despite being a multi-tool head 3D printer, it is just as easy. It's simply a question of pulling the printer out of the box, taking it out of the bag, and then unpacking everything from the inside of the machine. One really neat thing about the Creator 5 is how it handles the tool heads. They all come connected directly to this dock, which you just slide onto the machine and screw in place, and then you can plug in all the tool heads into their respective ports before continuing with the setup. Like screwing in the data cable for the tool head mount, plugging in the LCD screen, and then removing the screws holding down the build plate before finally installing the spool holders. It is genuinely that easy. Then you can go through the process of connecting your 3D printer to the local Wi-Fi. Then the Creator 5 will go through the entire calibration setup, which includes vibration compensation, bed leveling, and individual tool head offset calibration. The tool head calibration is the only part of the setup that you actually need to do something, in which case you only need to remove the PEI bed sheet off the build plate. That way you'll have access to the little metal divot it uses for its calibrations, and then you can just slap that baby back on. And with that done, you're finally ready to load some filament and start your first print. In this case, my very first 3D print was the 4-color benchy that came pre-sliced on the printer. For a 4-color print, albeit there's only 4 color changes total, it only took some 40 minutes to print, and on top of that, this tiny prime tower was the only waste the machine produced outside of when I initially loaded in the filaments. That's it. Now, to be fair, a multicolor print like this would only take a bit more time and a bit more material on a 3D printer only using 1 tool head, since again, there's only 4 different filament swaps on the benchy. So if we really want to see the benefits of the Creator 5 when it comes to 3D printing in multicolor, we have to start printing some more elaborate multicolor 3D prints. I've been meaning to 3D print this really cool Mark II faceplate by Walsh 3D for a very long time. So I started by 3D printing the widow's peak of this faceplate out of 3 different colors. My first attempt was actually in 4 colors and didn't turn out so good. Turns out the silk, bronze, and gold I used were incredibly humid, so they just blobbed and stringed like mad. So I ended up drying those off and then reprinting the same print. And in my second attempt, I only 3D printed the widow's peak out of black, silver, and bronze because the gold kind of felt redundant since it looked very similar to the bronze. And this only took 9 hours to 3D print with a total of nearly 1,200 tool changes. With regards to waste, this prime tower only used up 57 grams of filament, with the main print using 20 grams and the supports only using 5 grams. On any other machine using only 1 tool head to 3D print in multicolor, this widow's peak would have taken a whole day and 7 hours to 3D print. And it would have used 153 grams of filament total, with 72 grams dedicated to the priming tower and 52 grams for all the purges. That's nearly 3.5 times longer while using almost double the amount of filament to 3D print the exact same part. For the actual faceplate itself, the quality of the print isn't like the best I've ever seen on a Core XY 3D printer, but it's still a great 3D print, especially when you take a look at the inner details on the faceplate. They are genuinely so cool looking. And on top of that, the Creator 5 saved a bunch of time and filament 3D printing this versus any other 3D printer. This faceplate took a day and 25 minutes to 3D print while only using 400 grams of filament. That's 108 grams for the prime tower, 92 grams for the supports, and 200 grams for the faceplate itself. Meanwhile, this is what the faceplate would have taken in time and material if it were 3D printed on the Bambu Lab A1. I basically took the exact same project file I was using in Flashforge Studio and imported it into Bambu Studio, and then switched out the printer for the A1 and sliced it. As a result, we have 2 days, 11 hours, and 46 minutes to 3D print the exact same model, with the prime tower consuming 135 grams of filament and 139 grams being purged between swaps, for a total of 543 grams of filament used on the exact same print. So with the Creator 5, you're not only saving 60% of the time it would have taken for you to 3D print it on any other single tool head 3D printer, but you're also saving 26% of the filament cost. So if you're someone looking to 3D print in multicolor very regularly, then the Creator 5 is certainly a 3D printer worth picking up. Since Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming out really soon, I wanted to have some Spider-Man themed projects I could feature on the channel, so stay tuned for that. And because of that, I 3D printed these Spider-Man masks that I could feature in those videos. So on the Anycubic Cobra S1 Max, I 3D printed this classic red Spider-Man mask out of Multicolor. And on the Flashforge Creator 5, I 3D printed the symbiote variant of the exact same mask using black PLA and silver silk PLA. So we have two identical models 3D printed on two separate machines, one being a single tool head multicolor 3D printer, and the other one being a multi-tool head 3D printer. So we can directly compare the amount of time and filament both used. So the backplate for the symbiote variant of the Spider-Man mask on the Flashforge Creator 5 was pretty trivial to 3D print. It only took a day and 4 hours to print and used up 438 grams in total, with over 1,000 tool changes and 82 grams dedicated to the prime tower. In the meantime, the Cobra S1 Max spent an entire day just purging filament and took a total of 2 days and 13 hours to 3D print the backplate, while using up 728 grams of filament in total. That's 55 grams for the prime tower and 363 grams of filament for purging. So that's nearly double the amount of filament and time used to 3D print the exact same file on the Cobra S1 Max versus the Creator 5. For my following prints, I wanted to test out the Creator 5's ability to 3D print multiple materials and TPU. So I went on printables and found this really cool 3D model for a door stopper that you can 3D print in both PLA and TPU. So since these filaments don't really enjoy adhering to one another, the 3D model for the door stopper actually has interlocking layers for both the PLA and the TPU parts of this door stopper. That way both materials are mechanically fused to one another. I did need to restart this print, but that wasn't really the Creator 5's fault. For some reason, the roll of TPU filament Flashforge sent me was extremely humid, and that made a complete mess when 3D printing. So I needed to cancel the print, dry off the filament, and then restart. And for what it's worth, this door stopper printed very well once I actually had dry TPU filament to print with. Now there is still a bit of stringing, but that's just the nature of 3D printing with TPU. But besides that, the print quality of the door stopper itself is just top notch. And as a really cool bonus, the door stopper actually works. It's got these ribbed segments so that the edge of the door actually locks into place and keeps the door from moving. I really wanted to keep testing out TPU prints with other materials like PLA, so I went ahead and 3D printed this really rad telescopic katana I found on printables. The thing is, this print is meant to be multicolor and not multi-material, so there's no actual mechanical locking to attach the different halves together. However, I did discover that there is a setting inside of Flashforge Studio, which is just a branch of Orca Slicer and Bambu Studio, which is called beam interlocking, which will generate tiny beams which will crisscross, which will attach different parts of a single model together. And this actually didn't print that well. I dried the TPU before printing, but it still ended up oozing a crap ton, and there was also some under extrusion present in the TPU parts of this print too, which was really weird considering how well the Creator 5 handled TPU for the door stopper. So I decided to reprint the sword again in 4 different colors and substitute the TPU for red PLA. And this 3D print turned out phenomenally. It looks super good, and it only took 13 hours to 3D print while only using 114 grams for the prime tower and 125 grams for the print itself. So, in conclusion, I think the Flashforge Creator 5 is an excellent 3D printer. And with it costing only $799 USD, and with it being $699 USD on their website currently, I genuinely think that this is a fantastic option for those people looking to do a lot of multicolor 3D printing. For me personally, I tend to use 3D printers as a tool for cosplay related projects. So I tend to only 3D print in a single material. But even I can't deny how handy the Creator 5 has been at 3D printing multicolor prints at a fraction of the time time and cost it would take to 3D print those on any other machine. Up until recently, there hasn't been a lot of affordable options when it comes to multi-tool head 3D printers. You basically just had the Prusa XL or you had to build your own. And both options are quite expensive. But now with the Flashforge Creator 5, people finally have an option to get a multi-tool head 3D printer for multicolor and multi-material prints that costs about the same as a 3D printer with a separate AMS multicolor unit. And on top of that, the machine has been pretty reliable thus far. Now, to be fair, I haven't had this machine for a very long time, so I haven't had the chance to really put it through its paces. So I can't really speak to the longevity of this machine and the components. So I would definitely keep an eye out for future videos about this machine covering how easy it is to repair, replace, and do maintenance on the machine. So if you have any questions about the Creator 5 or anything else, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below and I will do my best to answer them. And if you enjoyed this video and you're not subscribed to this channel, I would really appreciate it if you could do so. So that's going to be it for this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.